Hey guys, good morning. Well, I don't know if it's morning where you're watching this, but it's morning right now for me. I just woke up and went on my Tumblr and saw that I had a message from someone who has either been watching my videos or just found my Lyme blog. I'm not too sure. But the message was, I have been sick since 7th grade. I'm currently in 10th grade. No doctors have found anything yet. Went to doctor today, thinks it's likely I have Lyme. Now we wait for results to come back. What's the most successful treatment you've had? Thanks. And I figured I would make a video about it. And this is kind of a hard question because no one treatment is going to work the same from person to person. That's what's tricky about Lyme. There's no cure, there's no one specific treatment. You just kind of have to figure out what works best for you. So this video is about what has personally worked best for me, but that doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work best for you watching. It might give you some ideas, it might give you some things to talk to with your doctor about, but there's no guarantee that what worked for me is going to work for you. But first off, I want to say that I'm really sorry that you've had to go through this and that you haven't had answers yet. And it might look like you are headed in the right direction now, and I really hope that that's the case and that you find something that works. At the very beginning of my treatment, at the very beginning of my diagnosis, we started like a 6 months course of antibiotics, just taking them orally. And for that time, it seemed to work really well for what I was dealing with because at my worst, I was having like seizures every day. I could barely sit up in bed. I couldn't do anything pretty much for myself. But after 6 months of antibiotics, the seizures had stopped and I was up, walking around my house a little bit. But the thing with antibiotics is that it just destroyed my body. Like, I was so depleted in everything that it took many years to rebuild all of that. But the antibiotics did help bring the infection level way down. Well, not way down, but further down than it would have without the antibiotics, I think. I don't know. And I know a lot of people go the antibiotic route. I know that people do the intravenous antibiotics. I never did that. I just took them orally, and we switched between antibiotics every couple of weeks. So that's the first thing that we did. Then we spent 3 years just kind of flip-flopping around, not really knowing what to do because nothing after that really worked. My body was just so sensitive. It was just so weakened by the antibiotics and by the infection that I couldn't hardly tolerate anything. But after that, I started getting nutritional IVs every single week. And I believe that this has been the biggest help for my body to heal, was going in for weekly IVs and just getting a nutritional bag, just every single week, making sure I got a nutritional bag of IVs. And a glutathione push at the end. And then eventually, because of some testing we were doing, we saw that my minerals were just completely depleted. So we added a minerals bag on top of the nutritional IV. And I did once a week nutritional IVs for consistently for a year and a half. And in that year and a half, I saw the most improvement that I've seen anytime during my treatment. So I'm a firm believer in nutritional IVs. For me personally, through all the different blood testing that we did, we found that in everything I've been depleted. My vitamins, my minerals, my adrenals, my neurotransmitters in my brain. Everything that we've tested has been completely depleted. I've been at practically zero. My body was just completely done. I didn't have anything left in me to fight the infection and to heal. So for me personally, what we needed to do was give my body all of what it was lacking so that my body could fight the infection itself, so that my body could repair itself. But in order to do that, you need to give your body what it needs, and that's, nutrients, minerals, get your adrenals going, because my adrenals were practically dead. But really quick, I just redid my adrenals testing, because I've been on adrenal support for the past 6 months now, and they're up. They are much improved. There's still a little bit that needs to be tweaking, but I'm doing better in that aspect. And that's thanks to hydrocortisone, which is a prescription. So I've been doing a little bit of everything. I've been doing supplements, I've been doing IVs, I've been doing prescription medication. The only really prescription medication I'm doing is hydrocortisone for my adrenals, and then I also have a prescription for Zofran, which is anti-nausea, that thankfully I've been down to like 2 a week, which is much improved, because I was like constantly 100% 24/7 nauseous all the time, and now I'm not. So that's another improvement. And I'm gonna be honest, I see a naturopath doctor. That's where I have seen the most improvement. That's where I have found that doctors care and are willing to work really hard to figure out what it is that's wrong with me. Because any Western doctor I went to, they would just pass me off to someone else. But once I found naturopath doctors, they really took the time. They were willing to do blood tests, and every single blood test that they have given me has shown that I have been depleted in everything. And if I hadn't done those blood tests, I would never have known that my adrenals were practically dead. I wouldn't have known that my minerals, I was severely lacking in all of them. Same with my vitamins. We did spectra cell testing, which is like testing your cells on a very basic level. And I mean, I can show you the results. It's my blood talking. And if it wasn't for those tests, we wouldn't have an idea of where to go. But that brings me back to my first point, which is, that's just me personally what happened. That's my blood, that's my levels, and not everyone is going to be like that. I don't know your history, obviously. I don't know what your blood says, or any of your other tests, because not all of the tests have been blood. I don't know, I hope this gave you some insight, maybe a little bit. That's just what's been best for me. The nutritional IVs and my supplements, and the hydrocortisone now recently, just in the past 6 months. I hope this answered your question a little bit, or gave you some insight, or gave you some hope, I guess. The Lyme treatment, the Lyme diagnosis isn't a death sentence to sound dramatic, but it's not. You can get better. I have seen a lot of improvement in the past year, but I mean, I was diagnosed back in 2009, so it's taken a really long time. It's been very, very slow progress, but I've definitely seen progress, and I owe it to my doctors, I owe it to my mom, I owe it to myself for keeping on, always keeping fighting. So yeah, I wish you the best. If you have any more questions, feel free to send me messages on my Tumblr. For those of you that don't know my Tumblr, I don't know if I've linked it lately. I don't spend a lot of time on my health Tumblr, but it's looklikeaspaceman.tumblr.com. And I have anon messages on, so if you want to keep your identity safe or whatever, feel free. And I will see you guys in my next video. Check the description below for an explanation of why I've been missing for several weeks, but it's a good reason. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys!